We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. You know, Zach and Pooh Bear are producers. It has been a hell of a 2 days. Actually, it has been one hell of a couple of days starting Friday. If you missed it, I don't know how you missed it. Maybe you got a little too intoxicated. On the 4th of July. And you were sitting there and you were saying to yourself, what happened yesterday? Well, we had 3. Not 1, not 2, not 3. But 3 big-time commits. Oh, but Mr. Blank, one of them's a 3-star. Well, when a 3-star goes to football camp and starts shutting down 4- and 5-star receivers, you can shut the hell up because it's time to roll. But nevertheless, LSU got 3 massive recruits yesterday and a big-time haul for Brian Kelly and Coach Jamar Cain. We spoke with Coach Cain yesterday and last night. If you missed that interview with us and Coach Jamar Cain, go to our YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff, and catch that as well. So we're going to be recapping that, but a Ruffino's Rants is on the way. Last week, it was every fan in here panic, not everyone, but a lot of people panicking. Brian Kelly showed you he knows exactly what he's doing. I will tell you what I believe is the full-blown philosophy of this coaching staff and some things, some rumblings, some Inspector Gadget rumblings I'm hearing around Brian Kelly and this coaching staff. We'll touch on that in that Ruffino's Rants. Also, Jay Johnson finalizing his team. Got an interesting text as we're coming on the show. We might share it. We'll see. But Jay Johnson, he's probably going to try to, in the next couple of weeks, finalize his staff. Gavin Guidry makes it on campus. Oh, dear God. Listen, we're trying to get Gavin on the show. I talked to Gavin. We're going to try to get him on after the draft. So looking forward to having him on, regardless if he comes to LSU or goes in the draft. We will be having Gavin Guidry, the shortstop from Barb, that will be joining us. So looking forward to that. But I'll tell you some things around LSU baseball and what we're hearing there. It's the BKO takeover, and the storm's not over. As today, LSU got a massive commitment from quote-unquote 3-star Xavier Debo Atkins. Let me tell you, I will not mess with a guy nicknamed Debo. The young man had 217 tackles last year as a sophomore, and you got paywall services going out there and saying that they haven't seen Louisiana recruits in person since 2017 and confirming they haven't. Isn't that just great? What a day for that young man. He was actually, the first time I saw him was on the Golden Boot podcast with Ant Marshall, Daniel Williams, and some other guy they call Pooh. So, go check that out as well. And then we'll get to none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Carter the Power Bryant. Let's go. I think I'm getting that pretty good. Tell me if I sound like Carter. Let's go. I think that's pretty good. Imitation is the best form of flattery. So we do got a lot to get into here tonight. You know where I'm going to start. But before we do that, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share those Facebook groups. So many of you right now are watching us on Facebook. Like, review, subscribe, all that great stuff. Share to those Facebook groups. Share to your social media pages. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you are listening to us on YouTube, so many of you have subscribed since yesterday. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so already, rate, review, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're listening to us on XM Radio or you're listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts, do us a favor there too. Rate, review, subscribe. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share, but we got to pay these bills very quickly. Got to talk about my good friends over at GM Varno & Sons at betonline.ag. Guys, we'll be back in a minute 30. You're not going to want to miss this football scoop. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website. Use betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Lamar Williams, let's get to a couple comments before we get started. Let's get this thing started, y'all. Guys, I did not tell you before. Oh, wrong button. Guys, I did not tell you before the show. We have some pretty big news. Maybe I should have put this in my notes in big bold letters, but I didn't. Guys, in about 2 weeks, we're going to be relaunching our website, and we're going to be doing a message board, if you will. So be on the lookout for it. We're going to be putting a lot of content in there. Merchandise will be in there. So a very big website that we're launching. It's going to be really fun. So I just wanted to make that announcement. We're about 2 weeks out, maybe a little bit sooner. Who knows? But be on the lookout for that. So we got some big news, big things coming to AYS. All right, let's get to a couple comments, though, before we get started. Ryan Guidry says the power is in the house. Carter, the power. Right. KMC on YouTube says Xavier Debo Atkins had 200-plus tackles and 28 tackles for loss. He's absolutely insane. Guys, there's no business right now that young man has any business whatsoever being a 3-star recruit. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing, never, ever, ever does that young man deserve to be a 3-star. And look, I'm kind of to the point, guys, until I start watching these guys play, I am not going to start giving them a star rating. You know you have a good wife when she brings you your water. But I'm not going to start labeling these guys. This kid's a 3-star. Debo is not a 3-star. Pooh Bear puts in here, Debo also returned a punt for a touchdown. There you go. So yes. And that goes for a lot of these kids yesterday. The big thing now and the pivot now. So to start the Ruffino's rants, the pivot. Pivot. If you've ever seen the TV show Friends. Pivot. The pivot on all of this is, well, these kids, Howard, Mickens, Womack, Reed, none of them are from the state of Louisiana. Guys, I'm a Louisiana dude through and through. Born, bred, sealed, delivered. A Louisiana dude. But if a kid can play, a kid can play. Do I want every Louisiana recruit on God's green planet to come to LSU? Yes. But guys, with all due respect to everyone in here, you can't win natties with just Louisiana dudes. Alabama doesn't do it. Clemson doesn't do it. Georgia doesn't do it. Texas, when they were in their prime, didn't do it. USC in their prime didn't do it. Tennessee in their prime didn't do it. They did not lock down their states all the time. Florida State didn't do it under Bobby. Miami, yeah, their core nucleus was from from Dade County. Sure, they didn't do it. You got to go get those dogs, man. Does Warwick Dunn ring a bell? Does Reggie Wayne ring a bell? I was going to say Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but he didn't really play worth a damn. You get what I'm saying? What's the argument now? There shouldn't be an argument. This should be over with. These arguments, these beefs that everybody's trying to create, these issues, they should be done with. Guys, newsflash. LSU's not done in this month. They're going to continue with 23 and 24 guys. Robert Steeples, Jamar Cain, Kerry Cooks, things I'm already hearing on the recruiting trail about Brad Davis, Joe Sloan, Matt House, Mike Denbrock, and the closer himself, Brian Kelly. Don't look at this 23 class when you got 2024 kids committing and they're inside the state of Louisiana. Don't do it. That's all we could talk about last week, right? It's the only thing we could talk about was we don't have the state. Be careful what you're saying. Be careful underestimating this recruiting, not even this recruiting class, but this recruiting staff and these position coaches. Guys, they haven't been here 6 months. We have not. I went on with Mike Detillier today. All you guys who know who Mike Detillier is. Now he's on WWL radio. Shout out to Mike Detillier. Guys, we haven't played a game as Brian Kelly is as him being our head coach. I don't care anymore at this point what the Notre Dame fans are saying. They're bitter. They're bitter. There's nothing to do in Indiana. Take your sister to prom. I mean, what is there to do? What do you go to Daytona? Do you watch car race? What do you do? I don't know. Don't care what you do in South Bend. You go to Mass, sounds good. Congratulations. I'm happy that you have your faith. I really, really am. But LSU a season ago. So we're going to talk about the method of Brian Kelly's madness, right? You want to know the method to the madness. Talking to somebody on staff weeks and months ago, even so far as a month after, about a month after Brian Kelly was hired. After seeing the team, they want to replenish what they have up front on both lines of scrimmage. Guys, next year, in order, you're going to have B.J. Ojulari on the D-line leave. You're going to have Jaqueline Roy, who's going to be a very high draft pick. Ali Gay's out of eligibility. Mike Jones Jr. is gone. Micah Baskerville is gone. You have to replenish what is going out from your team. Are we overreacting to Derek Williams? I'm not going back down that train. I understand it. I fully understand it. But I promise you this, as God is my witness, this Derek Williams recruitment isn't over with yet. It's not even close. Guys, we're in the 6th inning. Runner on second, 2 outs. You're down by 1. Yes, I said 6th inning. You heard me. Get a base hit. Tie the game. Oh, and I also forgot. If you're naive enough to believe that LSU is behind in the NIL game, I got some news flash for you. You're wrong. The one thing you can't tell rich people, very rich people, is that they're broke and they're not going to, and they can't give money to their team. Last week we talked about Jay Johnson. Last week we talked about what he's doing in the transfer portal. Guys, do you think that Jay Johnson's just so goddamn good looking that he's walking up to Tommy Tanks, Tommy White, and batting his eyes and saying, oh, dear God, Mr. Tanks, will you please come here? Stop. God, stop. It's not what's going on, man. So now you go and get, and by the way, they're not done on the defensive line. I still think that they're going after a true zero nose, like a Tyler Shelvin, a Pooh Ika. They're still going after that person. You had to replenish your defensive line. They did it. If you think they're done on the O-line or even getting started, they're not. What is the Lance Hurd going to do? What is Chase Basantis going to do? Let's see. Let's wait and find out. Can LSU flip Ricky Collins, the quarterback from Woodlawn, who, by the way, everybody's in here talking about, oh my God, he's not that highly rated as a quarterback. He's not Eli Holstein. He's not Arch Manning. He just beat the absolute dog shit out of everybody at the Elite 11. Him and Dante Moore were neck and neck. Jane Rashada didn't make the cut. Eli Holstein wasn't accurate enough. Arch Manning didn't compete. You know who did compete? Was Ricky Collins. What happens if the Notre Dame Bryant Kelly, with the fierceness that they had on both lines of scrimmage, gets a Kayshon Boutte, gets a Shelton Sampson, gets a guy like Justin Jefferson or Malik Neighbors, and a guy that's right there in St. James and Kai Pring? Remember when Aaron Anderson was a 3-star before he committed to Alabama? He was the number 1 recruit in Louisiana last year when he committed to Alabama. My wife's in there making fun of me. She better be glad she's pregnant with my child. Just joking. Hey, bae. You want to continue to hit the panic button? That's on you. I'm not going to. Guys, it's July. It's July. Let me say this very quickly before we get to these comments. I want to talk about Jay Johnson. I know some of you saw this. Guys, can you start starring some of these comments so we can bring them up too? Guys, we saw today over the last couple of days, guys arriving on campus, and I think the biggest one so far being Gavin Guidry. Short start from Barb. I know a lot of people are asking the question, well, if these guys are on campus, does it mean that they're committing or they're staying or they're not getting drafted? That's not what that means. They're just moving in. So a lot of time to move in. So no, I'm not. That doesn't mean anything. They can, as quickly as they move in, they can move out. It does hint to me, though, that I think Gavin Guidry might have a little bit of a heads up. Maybe he's not going into the draft. Guys, can you imagine adding the number 1 class in the transfer portal with the number 1 class in the country in recruiting from the freshman class, combining those 2 rosters, and then what? There's a very strong potential that when you see a guy like a Gavin Guidry and Jay Johnson starting to finalize his team, some of the guys that are on the pitching staff, some freshmen that are coming in, looks like they're not going to the draft. Hurston Waldrop's out there, didn't even make the USA team. Good for him. He's trending Florida. So, banana. Newsflash, Hurston Waldron's more than likely either staying at USM or he's going to Florida. Girlfriend says he can't leave. That's what the rumors are. Jay's putting together a staff. I think after the draft, Jay's going to get his final coach. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in December, though, if Jay can add a full-time staff member. But I'm going to tell you, those boosters that everybody's starting to piss off, because remember, I'm just a guy behind a microphone. There's 352 of you in here actively live currently, 354 now. No telling how many of us are listening to us on XM. Guys, this isn't coming off on a whim. Jay's a great coach, a really, really good coach. But when you got them deep pockets, nothing's going to face you, or nothing. No one's going to go up against you. You have coaches in the SEC wondering what, and I'm quoting, in the Rudy Poo hell is going on at LSU. They're pissed. Congratulations. You pissed off a booster base that, quite honestly, you didn't want to piss off. LSU is a 500-pound gorilla with a chainsaw as a penis. Go look up that quote. That's not my quote. I stole it. Wake up the sleeping giant if you want to, but when you do, watch out. Guys, let's get to some of these comments. Let's fire them in here. Some of these comments that we have in here. Chris English says that's an MLB roster. I agree. Rick said Jay Johnson, a.k.a. the Portal King. Yeah, he is. He really is. Tyler sends us some stars via Super Chat. Thank you so much. Blaine Smith. Look at that bear right there, boy. Man, I guarantee you Blaine Smith drinks like a whole case of Natty Lights before he goes to bed. Look at him. Look at them sunglasses. That screams. Blaine Smith's fireworks still going off today. They're not done. They're not done. Let's see what happens with Mr. Hughes, Jeremiah Hughes from Bishop Gorman in a couple of days. I think, what is it, guys, the 7th? I don't know what's going on with him. Have no idea. Jason Brumfield says Derek Williams will flip before it's over. I think he will. I don't know if that's LSU. If you guys, sometimes we don't think as fans, right? Like, we don't think. Do you really think LSU's stopping to recruit Derek Williams? Like, yeah, you're right. They stopped recruiting Derek Williams. They stopped, guys. Oh, no, what are we going to do? Roderick, man, I don't even know what kind of, like, hairstyle that is. Look at that right there on Roderick. Damn, boy. I dig it, though. I bet you guys sit in that chair for a long time. Miller committed to Nebraska. Omarion Miller, if you missed it today, committed to Nebraska. He says relationships matter. Do you think Nebraska will win a ship before LSU? No. Scott Frost? Frosted Flakes? No. Frosted Flakes is not winning a natty before Brian Kelly. God, come on, guys. It's Nebraska. They eat corn for fun. Adam B says Blake's unseasoned side coming out with friends in reference. I don't know what that means. I have absolutely no idea what that means. Aaron says, Blake, I just fell out my chair laughing with that one. It's true. Don't wake up the sleeping giant, dude. Uh-oh. Power Hour LSU. Ryan Williams says, wow, Blake quoting the famous Paul Feinbaum. LMAO, let's go. That's true. That's who I'm quoting. That is who I'm quoting. Ed O says, when if Frank, Cortez, and Joe going to start bringing in LA skill players? Panic, Ed O, if you want to, bro. It's going to happen. And even if they don't and they go out of state and you're a top 10 to 8 class, guys, I'm sorry to tell you, it's okay for right now because they're starting to get these kids in 2024. Relax. Relax. Alton Scott says BK is building one hell of a foundation. Bingo. Hey, guys, we need the clap emoji or clap sound. Comment of the night goes to Alton Scott. You build a base from kicking ass up front. That's how you win. Again, I asked the question that nobody answers. What happens if Brian Kelly, you get Xavier Atkins today? Great. You're going Jeremiah Hughes trending this way. Great. Shelton Sampson trending LSU's way. Great. What happens if you're able to dominate on both lines of scrimmage with guys like Kayshawn on the outside? Nobody's asking that question. We might not understand the plan right now. Call to the power, Bryant, in 1 minute. But it's like Rocky 3, right? Just like in the second fight with Clubber Lang, Rocky in the second round was getting his teeth kicked in. Getting his teeth kicked in. But then in the third, he comes out. He starts making Clubber miss. Hiya, hiya. Skirp, bop, bop. The famous line in Rocky 3. I think I understand the plan now. You got to understand the process. You got to understand the plan. All right, let's talk. So listen, we're going to Carter the Power Bryant. He did a deep dive. I'm talking about Michael Phelps type of deep dive off the deep board. Splash about this defensive line and about these recruits. Let's find out who Brian Kelly and this staff just got signed. Let's talk to Carter the Power Bryant about it. But first, we got to pay these bills around this thing. Let's talk about our good friends over at thegramcode.com. Guys, use that promo code AYS25 at checkout. Get 25% off of your order. And let's talk about my good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm. Carter the Power Bryant joins us in a minute 30. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramcode.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, Carter, the Power Bryant joins us. All right, let me start off with this. What's up with the hat, man? Do I need to send you like an AYS hat? Like, are you just gonna go Liverpool? Like, is that what we're doing here?
Well, I thought you were on the good side. I thought you're a Liverpool fan. Is there something wrong with the hat, Nan? Well,
I gotta be honest. If you're a Liverpool fan, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I don't know who I'm cheering for. I just got to be honest. All right. Okay. We're not here to talk about Liverpool. All right. Carter, you did a deep dive on this class. Four massive, even 5 massive recruits Brian Kelly just got. Carter, tell me about this defensive line. I gave you the floor. What's up with this defensive line? How good are they? You did say and ask the questions about one of the players being a resemblance of Arden Key. Go.
Yeah. So first thing, shout out to you. You have a bunch of lucky subscribers. Deshaun Womack announcement. Man, I was excited. Good job getting that, man. Got the Jamar Cain interview as well. That was a great interview. Got a lot of good nuggets from that. Yeah, so let me ask you this. Just a little bit of a not necessarily a trivia question, because you might know the answer to this, but since 2009 all the way up to 2020, LSU has brought in 16 defensive linemen ranked outside the top 300, right? So every one of the defensive linemen that LSU brought in was an elite defensive lineman, a top 150 recruit, right? Now, Blake, I want to ask you this question. LSU has brought in 16 non-top 300 defensive linemen. How many of them hit? Just give a guess, a number. Anyone in the chat can guess. How many do you believe actually turned out to be a good player? Not a great. We're not talking about a Glenn Dorsey. We're talking about just.
You're talking about Neil Farrell.
Yes, exactly. Like he's
all
one
of them.
All. No, there was only three of the 16. So what does that tell you, Blake? That tells you that 3-star defensive linemen, while some of them do hit at LSU, like Neil Farrell, for the most part, it is a very difficult position just to go get a guy that is a 3-star to play the position. So I understand that there's a lot of people out there probably wondering, well, how many why did we get 4 defensive linemen? Some of these guys play the same position, and there's still some other good guys we want to get out there. It's that there's not many guys athletic enough to play defensive line. It is extremely. Hey, look, it's just the truth, man. It's really hard to get replacement level defensive line play. So the better the recruit, the more likely you're going to get, a good player. Now, what's interesting, Blake, is you look at the offensive linemen during that same time period, okay? So this time, 2009 to 2018, I want you to guess how many non-top 300, so 300 ranked and below, offensive linemen. There have been 17. Guess how many 3-star offensive linemen were good out of the 17? As in, like,
I'm gonna say 7. I can think of 9. Okay, I was closer to that one. I was serious about that one.
So, look, that doesn't mean that 3-star offensive linemen are better than 3-star defensive linemen. It's just at LSU, they've been able to extract more good play from lower ranked offensive linemen than elite ranked offensive linemen. So for those that say that the stars don't matter, sometimes that's true. But at defensive line, it's really hard, right? Let's take a very extreme example. Jordan Davis, right? One of the best defensive linemen in the country. He's a unicorn. He was a 3-star at a Mallard Creek High School. That's where Thad Moss went, so on and so on. Yes, he was a unicorn, and he's probably one of the biggest freaks you'll ever see. But he was surrounded by a bunch of 5 stars. Georgia's defensive line was all 5 stars. Jalen Carter, obviously,
and you can make the argument he was the best of all of them.
He was. He probably was. He probably was. But still, that was a unicorn level of production. Most of the elite defensive linemen are higher ranked recruits. It's just the truth. Now, it is like that at every position, right? But at defensive line, it is really hard to get 3 stars to actually play up to a 4-star, 5-star level. And this is just playable, right? Now, what's interesting is LSU's had a lot of success with 3-star defensive backs. So their last 10.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting, right? So if you take a look at if you take a look at the data from 2009 all the way to 2019, there have been 10 3-star defensive backs.
All of them. I'm all in.
You're all in, baby. You're just putting everything in the middle. Well,
I don't know how to play poker, so I'm all in.
There you go. So
I hit it.
So 8 out of the 10 3-star.
Okay, so I got 80% of my pie.
Right.
Back.
Right.
Okay.
So, and you had 2 superstars there. So, it's
and was that Mo Claiborne, and who was the other superstar that was rated a 3-star?
I call him a superstar because you got 4 years of starters experience out of him. I call Jalen Mills a superstar. He's still in the league.
I'm not gonna look. Yeah, I would say that.
Now, is he in the upper
hair and everything, Carter?
Yeah, is he in the upper echelon of whatever? No, was he ever on
Carter,
like?
No, I don't know, dog. You played that long in the NFL. I can make the argument.
Yeah, but for DBU standards, I call him a superstar because he gave you 4 years of starters experience, right? So basically, looking at the 3-star production at LSU, the bottom line is this: it's hard to get defensive linemen to play up, higher than their ranking, right? So the 3-star defensive lineman, for those that are interested, was Neil Farrell. You remember Lewis Neal? Who remembers Lewis Neal?
Right. Cowboys. Went to the Cowboys.
And then Benny Logan in 2009. Now, the year before, yeah, he was great. He was great. But what's interesting was Lewis Neal was the only undersized guy. Benny Logan got big. His hands were made out of cement. He was truly great. So, look, that point being is this, right? There are 3-star defensive linemen that succeed. There are 3 stars at every position that succeed. But Blake, you talk about it on the channel. You and I talk about it privately. Defensive linemen are special types of athletes, right? Especially if you look. Well, for you as an offensive lineman, you're not going to say that. But
linemen eat crayons.
Some of them do. So some of them
continue.
Do.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
But I'm not, it sounds like I'm making a blanket statement, but it's just the truth, okay? Especially considering that LSU's gone from the Dave Aranda tight front scheme to a 4-man front to what we're going to have to figure out next year, what kind of front works with the personnel that we have. Now, it's a complete 180, right? You got to have as many of those elite guys as you possibly can, and LSU got 4 of them. Now, what's interesting, Blake, is let's actually take a look, all right? Because look, if we say that 3-star defensive linemen aren't, or not 3-star, but non-top 300 defensive linemen, what about the guys that actually are in the top 247? So all 4 of the guys LSU landed this past weekend.
So let's talk about, right.
Yeah, so let's actually use the same time frame, 2009 to 2020. There were, okay, and let's actually increase the standard. The top 247, okay?
Okay.
Of the top 247 defensive linemen that went to LSU, 30. They have had 30 from 2009 to 2020. Now, Blake, I want you to guess how many of those guys turned out to be solid players. Once again, we're not looking for Glenn.
All of them.
All of them. You're close. Once again, 23 of 30 of them, 76%. So
basically, Carter, what you're saying is that there's a high probability that these guys are going to be hits, not misses.
Yes. And
now let me rudely interrupt you very quickly.
Go ahead.
If you get, let's just say you add a true 0 nose.
Right.
And let's say 3.5. I know you can't say half because you can't cut off a half a person, but let's say one of them One of them gives you average production. Carter, I got to be honest. It's a hit.
It's a hit. It's a hit. That's all there is to it, man.
And look, Carter, by this logic, I'm sorry, but by this logic, one of those guys is going to be BJ Ojolari.
One of them, yes. One of them's going to give you superstar potential, right? But the bottom line is this, okay? I've looked at this all weekend, right? All the great defensive linemen at LSU, and there have been plenty. Michael Brockers was great. He was a 3-star. LeVar Edwards, or Brockers was a 4-star, but LeVar Edwards.
Who was Daniil Hunter?
Daniil Hunter was pretty highly rated recruit.
Okay.
But the bottom line is this. Defensive line is really hard to play. You get blocked at so many different angles. And look, I want someone just to have two people try and push them backwards and see how hard it is to prevent that from happening.
You ever try to push over Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, no, and I never will. You are a brave man to do that.
I am not brave. I was a scared man.
Yeah, but you still went out there and did it, man. It made you a
not on my own will. Not on my own will. You think I did this on my own will?
So it's hard. Defensive line's really hard. There's not many people that can really just, and once again, it's just existing. Like the baseline here was just playing and getting snaps and being a decent defensive lineman. It's still really freaking hard. And all four of these guys, I like some of them more than others, but all four of these guys at the very least can hold their own at the Division I level. Now, guessing which one's the next Arden Key, guessing which one's the next Michael Brockers is a different, scenario, because a lot of that comes down to your own desire, your own will. Like, for instance, like Mason Smith is one of the hardest workers on the team. When he walked in, he changed his body. He was a 5-star recruit, and he was
number one recruit in the nation on Rivals.
Yeah, and even he, took this craft very seriously. And I saw Quincy Wiggins with an interview with Jacques Doucet not too long ago saying, hey, I got to get used to going up against guys that are as athletic as I am. So what makes defensive line transition so hard is you're going up against guys that are going to be accountants everywhere in high school. And when you get to the college level, like Jamar Cain was saying, in your interview, he was saying, hey, what I have to fix, I can't fix until you actually get to this level, because it is different. You got to fire off.
I'm recruiting you. I can fix your issue.
Right. And, some of it is just firing off low.
God, that was so good, dude.
It was a great interview.
That was such a good quote. I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not have, texted and said that was the best quote I've ever heard from a coach.
It was a good quote.
Because Carter, it's from a recruiting aspect. Like you've interviewed and you've asked questions to coaches before, right? And you don't get that about recruiting. Like you get about, oh yeah, he can play really good. He's got good hands. He's got good feet. Really agile. But he's talking about like, hey, bro, his swim move is trash.
Right.
I don't care about that. I'm gonna fix that. Carter, let me ask you this: they're building a 3-4. Aren't they? Because I asked Kane that. Remember, I was like, Coach, is there a reason? What are you and Brian Kelly and Matt House talking about in those meetings? Daddy just goes out there and recruits. That's how I heard it. But they're building a multiple defense, right? Like that's how you see. Because look, Reed was the biggest guy at 270 pounds at 6'4". I mean, Deshaun Womack, 6'4", 255.
Yeah, and the good thing about Womack is that he can actually put weight on his frame. I think he can get bigger.
He could be 270 in a snap.
Yeah. I think he could get bigger and be a really good SEC player. I love Darren Reed. I really do, simply because if you go watch him, he's played every position on the defensive front, and that's very key to have that versatility. So, yeah, I mean, I think so, Blake, but something I saw in the spring game, and sometimes you'll just see it, in practices, is they didn't. So there's differences in how teams run their 3-4, right? The way LSU under Matt House ran their 3-4 versus in the spring game was a lot like how UCLA runs their defense, right? They don't necessarily line up in a Dave Aranda tight
It's
front.
Spagnuolo.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, what's very interesting is Matt House at Kentucky played more of a Dave Aranda 3-4, where he had three.
The technician style, right?
Well, he had three thicker players playing the three interior defensive line role.
How many C's in the thick?
How many? Oh, they were thick. They were 290 and above everywhere, man. Like thicker than a brick thick.
Like Kevin Gates because she's super thick.
Yes. I can't say the next lyric, but
no, I mean we can, but
I mean you can.
We'll get banned on XM, you know.
But that's the key, right? Not all 3-4s are built the same. You can play 4-3, 3-4 multiple. I do think though it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Womack in particular, because I do think he can be an interior or an exterior guy. Mickens going to be a stand-up, and honestly, Jackson Howard's very interesting as well. Reminds me a lot of Tayshawn Bauer, around the same height, same weight, around the same speed as well. But Howard had really good, he can also play tight end, but he's going to play defense. So we'll see what happens with that.
What I was telling Mike the TA today, if he's the guy that you got to put out in coverage, you feel pretty good about it. Like, remember against Alabama, it was against Texas. Remember when Calvin Chesson went out in coverage and it was so bad. Kid's never played coverage a day in his life. I don't expect that from him. Dude, this dude's like going in coverage and intercepting passes, dude, as a D lineman. I mean, that's a pretty versatile
playing quarterback.
You're right, dude. Truck sticking guys. I mean, look, I think Carter, they're bringing in very big athletes. I didn't ask this to Kane. You know what this looks like? I went back and looked at it. This is almost a replica of what he did at Oklahoma. It's also a replica of them being the third in all of college football a season ago in sacks. And Carter, there's one thing you can't tell me. The Big 12 can produce offensive linemen. It's not that they don't have talent up front. They got a lot of talent up front from a draft perspective. They were third in the country in sacks.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. All right, one last one, Carter, and I know you have your show. Correct me if I'm wrong. At 8:05 Central Standard Time, correct?
Central Standard. That's very key. CST.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. There's obviously some concern now. It's like Brian Kelly can't do anything right. You're getting some of these defensive pieces, but oh my God, Blake, Carter, Marion Miller went to Nebraska. I'm not freaking out. Are you?
Not really. I mean, you don't have a wide receiver committed, and you don't have a 4-star wide receiver committed. You got Kyle Parker, but you don't have a Louisiana receiver, right? And Louisiana receivers have been 100% nearly LSU's production. So Marion Miller, very nice prospect. Obviously, everyone that watches your channel knows who Shelton Sampson is, and if he commits tomorrow, it wouldn't shock me. If he doesn't commit, the day of signing day, it wouldn't shock me either. He's going to have a long list of suitors. I do feel he is a top 5 receiver in the country. I feel like he's one of the best LSU wide receiver recruits ever, right? And look, he reminds you a lot of Terrace Marshall when he plays. Very similar players, height, speed, smoothness. He's got it all. He's a really, really special prospect. But I do think LSU wants this to be a lot more than just a one wide receiver class in Kyle Parker. They want to get Shelton Sampson, and they want to get somebody else. So we shall see what happens there with Sampson. But as far as Mario Miller, really good prospect, has I think a low floor. I think he's going to be a productive college player, but I don't think his ceiling is that of a few other wide receivers I like, and that obviously includes Shelton Sampson. Now, Kyle Parker is also very interesting, and then we'll see what happens with him.
Kai Preen for me.
That's your guy, man. You've been singing his praises.
He's Malik, dude.
He's
a better route running Malik Neighbors.
Well, do you feel good? Do you feel BK?
I would put Kai, barring he gets some things right off the field. Barring some things, he is a more athletic Landon Ibieva.
Oh, well,
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, dude can play. Bro, there were times, and I don't mean this because the kid went to Bama. I said it a year ago. Shaz Preston was getting double teamed, and they couldn't find a way to get him the football. And Kai Breen took things over. And if you be honest now, Kai Breen's that dude. Just saying. Hey, sleep on Kai Breen if you want to. The only thing for me is when you tell me 247 when you hadn't watched him play. He could be Aaron Anderson 2.0.
So this will be his first year at St. James, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so man, I'm interested. I'm very interested.
There were some things when him and Preston were. Let me rephrase. I didn't say on against a team. Okay, I just said they may have been playing with one another. I'm just gonna leave it
look
there.
at that. Well, I'll say this, man. I really hope Kyle Parker works out. I do think LSU needs to find some receivers. I know LGZ, shout out to Akon and LGZ, baby.
Oh, I like that.
Jalen Brown, very interesting. 10.66, 100 meter. Jalen Brown out of Miami. Blake, what do you think about the U? Is the U coming back?
I think that if there's somebody that can get them there to multiple years of 10 wins, it's Cristobal because how he's going to recruit. Carter, name the quarterback. Hey, are you putting all your eggs in the Jaden Rashada basket after what you just saw at the Elite 11? Because what I just saw was he couldn't beat out Ricky Collins.
I try not to. I will say this. I will say
inaccurate now. He's inaccurate.
I try not to take too much away from the Elite 11. I'll hold back my strong opinion about one of the quarterbacks at Elite 11. I'll save it for your next show. But look,
Akon and Ricky Collins.
I love me some Ricky Collins. Look, tighten up that release, quicken up that release, man.
Agreed.
The guy's going to be a starter.
You're not their cheater, dude. Give me Peyton Manning. Well, very quickly. I don't know how. He's here, right? Like he's here. He comes down, he comes up, and then he throws. Right. He's got to be here.
Right. Yeah. Right? And
he's got to be here. The basic fundamental of throwing in baseball, and where you throw more than anything, people don't believe me. You throw daily, hundreds of times daily. You're here. I think it's a strength thing.
I think so too. I listened to an interview Joe Burrow did about his throwing mechanics. About the
Hey, he was out there with Palmer and them. He said the same thing. I was here, then throw. And right. That was, remember Burrow talked about, that was what Urban Meyer said he had a weak arm. That's what it was about. He's like, Joe, you have too many motions to you.
Right.
Be here. Hey, and when Joe figured it out, what happened?
Bombs away, baby. Hey, I will say this, okay? When it comes to
Booker T.
When it comes to quarterback play, and this is the extent of quarterback knowledge, I learned this in a Drew Brees Copperfit ad, okay? So they asked Drew Brees, hey, what's a key to quarterbacking, right? And this always sticks with me. I know we're all big Drew Brees fans here. Oh, well, I am. Drew Brees always said, look, there's so many mechanical things about quarterback, but if you get the ball out fast, you're going to play for a long time, right? And whatever you can do to get the football out the quickest. And I've learned from listening to an interview with Joe Burrow and Chris Sims, speaking to a few other OCs that I know, the big key is generating power through your hips.
Legs.
The hips. So yeah, so here's what's interesting. You know, you know what clicked to me?
Hip thrust.
The hip thrust, the Dak. You know what I'm talking about? The Dak Prescott hip thrust.
Yes.
Look at that. I got
He's
a little
doing the salsa.
Huh?
Or as some people have called it, they're doing the Miles Brennan. All right.
Oh,
He's got.
I love it, man. Let's go, Miles. Let's go.
Oh, chill out. No. Don't do it again. All right. Show at 8:05, correct?
I do have a show at 8:05, man. And thank you as always. And thank you, dude. If people knew this, right? You killed this was your first announcement, the Deshaun Womack thing, right? This was your first ever. So I've never done one of these, but I've done like a lot of live broadcasts. It's very intense when there is pandemonium happening behind you. And what's different is
power don't go out.
Please. Okay. So number one, power don't go out. You worry about the internet connection over there. I'm just trying to give people a little behind the scenes because you'll never talk about this, but there is so much that is happening whenever you're doing like a live hit such as that, where you're interviewing somebody at a big announcement and his whole family's there. They got shirts made. They had the banner. The banner was so epic. They have a pool party going in the background. They got burgers and dogs probably on the ground.
I got invited to the cookout.
Yeah. There was a lot going on. Okay.
Hey, Pooh Bear, man, a boo boo. I got invited to the cookout, and Pooh Bear and North Carter invited me to the cookout. That's some bullshit. Hey. I'm just gonna say it right here. I wanted ribs, burgers. They had potato salad, looked delicious. Dog, brisket.
Oh man,
well, I'm not happy with you, Carter.
You crushed it, man. You crushed it. Deshaun.
Hey, you know who crushed it more? Jamar Cain.
That's true. That is true. I need Jamar Cain in a Thanos with the Infinity Stones. That's what I need. I need someone to make.
Hey, I'll buy it to it and give it to him. Hey, interesting thought. If you thought Jamar Cain was interesting, I heard from a little birdie in about 5 days we might have his defensive coordinator.
Hashtag sources. Like hashtag sources. Hashtag
all right,
sources.
Go kill your show, bro. Go kill it. We'll see you soon.
All right, boss. Talk to you soon.
Bryant. The man, the myth, the legend himself. All right. Lamar says, Smug buy you all the ribs and burgers you would like. Pooh Bear, what does it feel like to not invite me to your barbecue? I do. All right, I want to talk about my good friend John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage. If you're buying a new home, saving money on the mortgage that you have now, or even doing that cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John Patton at GMFS Mortgage today. Let him know that your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. All right, should we bring up the producers for 3 minutes? Are y'all ready? All right, let's bring up the producers. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on? Hey.
First off, Pooh Bear.
You told me you didn't want to come unless the potato salad had apples and raisins.
Don't white shame me.
I told you, you know what I'm saying? That ain't going to happen around here.
I've never ate a raisin before in my life.
You said friends. We said living single. There was an argument.
I want cornbread. The collard green. Bro, they did. All right, listen. Pooh. They had collard greens with the bacon bits in it.
Oh. You can't go wrong with that in bacon.
Lemon, pepper. Dude, listen. Swear to God, I saw somebody walking past with a plate at Sack. Hey.
He was basically drooling. That's true.
My dog had not just a scoop of mashed potatoes and macaroni. He had all of the mashed potatoes and macaroni. My man living the life, bro. All right. What are y'all's thoughts about the class so far? What do you think about the last week? Zach, we'll go to you first with that.
We ain't done yet.
God, you said that so white. Can you try again?
I think we ain't done yet.
Still, you ain't got no rhythm. You need to go to the Miles Brennan School of Hip Thrust. Pooh, what did you
I'm
think?
good. I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass.
Zach stole my thunder, but I will say this: it's an excellent start. It's an excellent start.
It's a good start.
It's storm's coming. It ain't over yet.
Oh, this is the Outer Bands.
It's just the beginning.
It's interesting, when you get called non-sourced, and
I'm your favorite source's favorite source.
First off, keep my mama's name out your mouth.
Hey,
my
Miss
mom
Cookie.
did not pick our favorite producer.
Hey, Miss
Even
Cookie, is your favorite producer?
No, Stack, you got to do something with the hair, dog.
I just got it chopped today. See, it's clean.
Nobody could tell.
It's like 1,000,000 degrees outside.
Hey, wait, what did Marty Smith say? I tell him part it and to the side.
Part it.
Hey,
part
Paul,
it,
what
and
do
to
you
the side.
tell them? Leave the sides. All right, guys. Believe in Saints podcast with myself and Terrence Copper coming up.
Hey, there she go. Hey, Miss Cookie. I told you.
She is in the building.
Hi. This how'd you say? Hi, Pooh Bear. Not Frank Linton. Franklin. Uh-oh.
She was being nice.
Oh,
She was being nice.
my heart.
All I'm saying is, Pooh, you know how you can win this race? Invite me to the cookout.
I got you, man. I got you.
All
I
right.
got you.
Guys, we're getting out of here. See you in 10. Believe in Saints. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Go Scouts.